Hi guys, so today I'll be doing a deck profile for one of the right chains for dark states, which is Baromagnus. So I'll be going through the various cards that you need to play this deck. Okay, so beginning with the right deck, you have of course Baromagnus himself. So actually this is quite a good card because you only need one Color Blast, and depending on how much you soul charge, you can activate the various skills that he has. So yeah, so when he attacks, right, you Color Blast 1. If you have 5 or more soul, you draw 1. If you have 10 or more soul, your Vanguard gets 10k and 1 crit. So basically you're swinging for at least 23k with 2 crits if you have 10 or more soul. Then if you have 15 or more soul, basically you soul in all your rear guards as well as your basically you and your opponent soul in all of your rear guards, and then from your soul you call out 2 units to different rear guard circles, and then get 2 more attacks. So it's pretty good, very good extender of attacks, and you definitely want to be hitting, or rather try your best to hit 15 soul by turn 3. So when you ride grade 3, try and hit 15 soul so that you can maximize all the abilities as fast as possible. So yeah, so that's the boss unit, Baromagnus. Then you have this grade 2, which is the second ability is basically on place on rear guard circle, Count Blast 1, and you soul charge 2. Yeah, and then the first ability is when you ride Baromagnus, you put 1 card from your hand to your soul, and then you draw 1 card and you soul charge 1. So basically you get to soul charge 2 from this card, so it's pretty good. And you also get to, okay, I'll explain the skill later. So this 2. Then you have the grade 1, which is when placed on V, you soul charge 1. Then on rear guard circle, you have 10 or more soul, you get plus 10,000 power. So for this ability, you want to soul charge this card because when you have 15 or more soul, you soul in everything. You want to call out this card because it gets 10,000 on its own with 10 or more soul, and then when Baromagnus calls this card out, it gets 10,000 more. So basically, it's a 28k attacker on rear guard circle, and then if you persona right, it's 38k, which is pretty strong. Yeah, and then you have your starter. Basically the same skill as any starter. If you go second, you draw 1. So yeah, so that's the right chain. Yeah, so grade 0, grade 1. Then you write grade 1, soul charge 1. Turn 2, write grade 2. It does nothing really until you write Baromagnus. Then you put one card from your hand into the soul. Draw 1, soul charge 1. So that's the right deck. So I'll start by showing you the grade 3s. So of course you want to play 4 Baromagnus, including the ones in the right deck. It's your boss unit, you want to keep persona riding it, so of course you want to play 4 of it. Then you have I also play 4 of this. I forgot his name. Katesu. Yeah, but anyway, basically on place on rear guard circle, soul charge 2. So very good. I mean, you want to hit a 15 soul as fast as possible, so you constantly need to soul charge. So this is a very good card. And if you have 10 or more soul, for the second ability, Counter Blast 2, your front row gets 5k. So this is a bit costly. I'm not sure whether this skill is as good, but the first skill is definitely good. So you want to run 4 of it so that you can keep soul charging to hit your 15 soul by your grade 3, right? Then you have this order card, which is Counter +1, soul charge 1, and then you choose one of your units. If you have 5 or more soul, it gets 10,000 for every 5 soul in your soul. So if you have 15 soul, it gets 30k, and then if you have 10 or more soul, you draw 1. So yeah, overall pretty good also. Lets you soul charge, lets you draw, gives your units power. Yeah. So I only play 2 of it because you already have so many grade 3s, like 4 Baromagnus, then 4 of this, which is 8 already, then you have 10. So yeah, 10 is a pretty reasonable amount. So yeah, so now we'll be moving on to grade 2s, which is for this lady here. So basically, if your attack hits, you get a soul charge 1. And then second ability is if you have 10 or more soul, you soul in this and you counter charge. Yeah, so basically you soul in is a free soul, and then you counter charge because you use quite a lot of counter blast, especially if you want to use the grade 3 skill, which costs 2 counter blast, and Baromagnus skill costs 1 counter blast. Yeah, so you want to play 4 of it because, you know, attack hits, you get a soul charge, and this deck requires a lot of soul charge. So yeah, so you play 4 of it. Then this is the grade 2 that I just explained just now, which is part of your right chain. Yeah, so you also want to play 4 of it because counter +1 to soul charge 2, pretty good, especially in early game, when you want to hit the 15 soul. So you play 4 of it. Okay, then PGs, of course, you have 4 of it. This is the new PG from the new booster. Basically, if your hand size is 2 or less, it's a free PG. You don't need to discard anything. So it's pretty good, especially for late game when your hand size isn't that big. It's very good. Yeah, so 4 of it. So yeah, so we're entering the grade 1s now. 4 of the PGs, and then 4 of this grade 1, which is basically the skill is just soul charge 2. So as mentioned earlier, you want to reach 15 soul as fast as possible, especially when this is a grade 1. So on your turn 1 you can straight away use, then soul charge 2 until you reach 15 when you want to reach when you reach turn 3. So you play 4 of it because you want to keep seeing this card so that you can soul charge. Yeah. So this is also from the trial deck, so it's very accessible. Then you have 3 of the grade 1s that I explained just now. Basically, since you want to be calling this out from your soul, you need to either draw into it so that you can soul charge from the grade 2 skill. Yeah, so that's pretty much the skill. And always ensure that you have at least 2 of it in soul so that you can call 2 of it out. Unless you want to counter charge, then you call the grade 2. Then yeah. So depending on the matchup, you go into different, or rather you call different rear guards out. So the next grade 1, or rather the last 3 grade 1s I have here is basically also a soul charger. On place on rear guard, soul charge 1, and then if you need to draw more, once per turn, so soul blast 3 to draw 1 card. So it's pretty good. Especially when you hit 15 soul already and then you got spare soul, you need to build up your hand for next turn. Soul blast 3 to draw 1, pretty good. Yeah, so it adds to the draw power for this deck. So that's all for the grade 1s. I'll move on to the trigger lineup now. Okay, so of course, one over trigger, you want to play the new one because it's pretty good. The skill is basically when you check it during your drive check, your Vanguard gets 10k and 1 crit for the rest of the game, but it's only during your turn. So of course, it adds even more pressure to your opponent. Basically you're forcing out more PGs, which is pretty good. Either that or you're doing more damage. Yeah, so of course you must run this, the new overtrigger from the new booster. Then 3 draws, because draws only have 5k shield, and unlike the rest of the triggers, so you don't really want to hold on to so many 5k shields, so you only play 3 draws. So with the overtrigger, that's 4 of the 16 already. Especially when you can always, or not really always, when you run a great one, so much free to draw one, you won't really go into this skill early game because you want to build up 15 soul, but you already have a form of draw power, so you don't need so many draws. And basically this is a sort of a rush deck. You want to kill your opponent as fast as possible when you reach turn 3. So it's not like the other Dark States right chain, which is Bruce. Final Rush is quite a stall deck because you right grade 3, that's it. Like there's no abilities you can activate because of Final Rush until your turn 4, which is kind of sort of in a way bricky, but not really. I guess that's not really the right word, but basically it's just more, it takes a longer time to reach your sort of your combos. Yeah. And another thing about Bruce, right, is that there's actually a grade 3 card that lets you gain 15k. So you want to always hold it into your hand until you reach your Final Rush, because once you call it, like during your first grade 3 turn, I mean sure you get to soul charge, but it's only like a on place, so it's not like once per turn you can soul charge 1 counter plus to get 15k. So there's one thing that isn't good, so you want to be saving your hand. So it's really like a late game deck. Until your turn 4, you persona right, then go all out. Yeah, so that's the deck. But this one you just want to kill your opponent from as fast as possible. Yeah, so 4 crits. Basically to force even more pressure from your overtrigger. Is already okay. So let's say you check your overtrigger, then your Vanguard gets 10k 1 crit. Then if you're on Baromagnus, you have 10 more, so you get 10k 1 crit. So that's 10, 20, 20k 2 crit. So you're 33 and 3 crit, just like that. So that's already like 3 damage. And of course your opponent has to PG, unless he doesn't have PGs. Then crits are important to, like, push for or get that rush, get that early game rush, or even a late game rush, to push even more damage. And of course 15k shields, very important, especially in D series when triggers are 10k, or rather they give 10k power, but then things like your grade 1, they only have 5k shield, which is like half of V series. Then your heal triggers also has 5k less shield, so overall you don't really have so much. Yeah, so 4 crits and then 8 crits. Yeah, so this deck plays 8 crits and then 4 heals. So that's all for the triggers, and basically all for the deck. I guess this deck is good in the sense that, or rather it's good against decks that can build up fuel very fast, like maybe Link Joker, not Link Joker, Brandgate, Office, you know, they have their tokens, right? And then what you want to do is basically sew in all the tokens, or rather they get removed, so that, you know, they are forced to call down their hand. Because once they call the tokens, right, they don't have to call down their hand, which is makes them have more defensive power. They have more shield to guard with. But this deck kind of removes that, because if you rather remove all their tokens, then they have to start calling from their hand, and then therefore reducing their shield. So that's one way of putting it. And then I guess another deck that can, or rather has to fill up the field quite fast, is Stoichia, because they have attack extenders from their back row. They can attack from back row, so they will want to call as many cards as possible, so that they can swing more at you. So this deck also in a way counters that, because once you sew in everything, they have to start committing more cards. So yeah, maybe I can do like a short demo. I don't know whether that will be too helpful, but I will try. So you start with a grade 0, then of course this is your right die, right? Then you, let's say you discard one, okay, then you write grade 1, then soul charge, let's say anything, you know, crit. Okay, so that's 2 soul on turn 1, right? Then you pass turn. Let's say you're going first, then you pass turn, you can't attack. Okay, so, and then let's say you take 1 damage, okay. Then now it's your turn. Then you discard 1, right, grade 2. So right now, 3 soul. And then, since you can't do anything on grade 2, honestly it depends on what you draw. So for example, let's say you draw into another of this grade 2, and you can pay 1 Counter Blast to soul charge 2. Let's say you're so unlucky, you soul charge 2 more triggers, whatever. And then so now you're at 5 soul. 5 soul on turn 2. And then let's say I guess you draw into one of this, right? Then you use it to soul charge 2 more. So that's 7 soul. Okay, not bad, right? Then so that's your turn 2, 7 soul, turn 2. I guess if you are very lucky, you get to call this, and let's use soul charge 1. So you soul charge 1 more, so 8 soul. 8 soul on turn 2. Then let's say blah blah blah. Okay, now it's your turn again. Right, Baromagnus. Skill of the grade 2, you sew in 1 from your hand. You draw 1 and then you soul charge. So you're already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 soul. So you already unlock like 2 abilities. Then depending on whether you have this card or not, to attack with. So let's say your attack hits, soul charge 1. End of the turn you attack, you sew in, and you counter charge. So that's 2 more, right? Well, of course this is only during your battle phase. So you really want to be opening up things like this grade 1. Let's use soul charge 2, or even this, right? Let's say you drew into this. Okay, let's put this aside. You drew into this, soul charge 2. Okay, soul charge 2, right? So you got 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Then let's say you have I guess 1 more order depending, then you have 15 soul already. Or if you have this grade 2, if your attack hits, you are already at 15 soul, because it's or rather yeah, because your attack hits, soul charge 1, this goes into soul after it attacks, that's 15 soul. So I would say it's a pretty high roll deck as well, because like you need your pieces for it to soul charge, but since you're already running so many cards that soul charge, you're at least guaranteed sort of 10, or rather guaranteed not 100% of the time 10 soul once you reach turn 3, but you really want to be reaching 15 soul once you reach turn 3. So you'll be running a lot of cards that soul charges. So yeah, so that's basically it for this deck. Maybe if if you're still around, I can do like a mini test. I'll do like a short power shuffle. I'll do a short power shuffle, just a quick one. And then we'll do like a short mulligan to show you what you need to draw into, or rather what options you have that you can draw into when you start the game itself. Yeah, so very quickly, this video is getting quite long, so I'll just make it quick. Okay, so power shuffle, yeah, and then let's say your opponent casts attack, right? Then you draw 5 from the top. 4, 5. Okay, so let's see. Triggers, you want to put it back, so you just return 4. This isn't really a good starting hand, so you want to be returning all your triggers. 2, 3, 4. Okay, much better hand. Definitely feels more of a late game hand because of the great trees. So let's say you return, shuffle, just very quick, and then let's say you go first. Right? Okay, you draw 1. Okay, so what you want to be discarding here is or you may not even want to be discarding. I'm not sure. Maybe you might be discarding. But you really want to keep your persona, right? This one you have to keep. This one, at least keep one of it. This one for souling in on your turn 3. And then so it's down to these 2, right? Which one do you discard? Maybe the great tree, since you know, turn 1 you don't really need it yet, so you discard great tree, right? Oh yeah, I forgot the starter. So you write great 1. Yeah, let's say you're going first. So you write great 1. And then the skill of great 1, so charge 1. Okay. And then you pass turn. Okay, so let's say you can't really guard, right? So you take 1 damage. Let's say your opponent gives you 1 damage. And you check your defensive, so quite unlikely that he can do another attack. So now it's your turn. Draw. Okay, now here, what do you want to do? I guess you can just a more risky play would be to throw away your heal, which I might have to do it here. So let's say you throw your heal away, right, grade 2. Okay, now you're at grade 2. Then let's say you call this, right, skill, you counterblast 1 and you soul charge 2. Oh my, okay, soul charge over trigger, never mind. Okay, then after that you can't do much, right, because you have no more counterblast. Yeah, you can't do much. So you just attack, then drive check. Okay, grade 2, then you swing with this. Then let's say you take 2 more damage. Right, 2 more damage. Okay. Then now it's your turn again. So you stand and draw. Then okay, what do you want to throw here? I guess you could throw one of this, or yeah, you want to throw one of this, and then you write Baromagnus, grade 3. Skill Baromagnus, so in your grade 1. Draw 1, okay, and then soul charge 1. Okay, so now let's do the soul count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So pretty low. Low. So use grade 1. Soul charge 2. Okay, now you're at 10 soul. So yeah, this is how easy you can get to 10 soul at least. And then okay, let's say you want to soul charge more. Okay, call this down, soul charge 2. Okay, 12 soul. Then you wanna maybe soul charge even more. You call this down, Calm Blast, soul 2. Okay, 14 soul, very good. Call this down, then you're ready to attack, because you only have 1 card in hand, right? So let's say you start with this. Okay, your opponent no guards. Attack hits. Soul charge 1. You're already at 15 soul. Right. So and then end of battle, soul in. And you counter charge. So just like that, 16 soul. Turn 3, 16 soul. Right. But honestly, this really depends on whether your opponent lets the attack hits. So depends, but basically quite easy to reach 10 soul at least. And then okay, let's say you're at 15 soul already. So you attack with that, and now you attack with this. Right. Yeah. Wait, actually, this is only a 10k, right? So maybe you attack your side, attack someone's rear guard. Okay, then you Vanguard swings, you soul in everything, and then you call out the grade 1. Call out the grade 1. So this 2 grade 1 is already 28k. And then the skill of Baromagnus. Oh sorry, counter blast 1 first. Then skill of Baromagnus, draw 1. He gets 10k on 1 crit. And then yeah, you just soul in everything. That's what we just did. So yeah, so you perform clean drive. First check, okay, draw trigger. Second check, draw trigger, okay. So yeah, so let's say you give power to 1 each. So 38k each, and you swing. So you get to do 5 attacks. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Baromagnus. Yeah, basically not much guarding in this deck, I guess. Since you don't have so much draws, you just want to end your opponent very fast. You know, if he like no guards everything, he or she no guards everything, or rather guard and then somehow you sack 2 triggers, and then you crit them to death. Yeah, so that's pretty much this deck. A lot of soul charging. Of course you may soul charge into your over trigger like what I just did, or even your other triggers. But that's just part of the game, right? you can't control anything like that. So yeah, thank you for watching this very random video, but yeah, that's it for the deck, I guess. For Baromagnus deck profile. So thank you.